News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Well, look at this. What a difference a day makes. Nikki Haley officially endorsing Donald J. Trump today. Here's another piece of audio we haven't played for you yet.
As a voter, I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account, who would secure the border, no more excuses.
And she said she endorsed Trump. She will be voting for Trump. So there it is. What do you say, guys? Are you okay would you support a Nikki Haley vice president? Would you support that? 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-WBAP. Another thing is, if who else would be a good pick in your opinion? Who would be a better pick if not Nikki Haley? But would you actually vote for that, for Trump with Haley on the ticket? 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-WBAP. And let's go to Gregory in Southlake. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Gregory.
Hey, Chris, I am a hell no on Nikki Haley. She is a rhino through and through. I wouldn't be surprised if she conspired with the CIA to get Trump assassinated.
Wow.
No, absolutely not. There are so many better people. DeSantis, Ted Cruz, J.D. Vance, maybe Jim Jordan. There's such a deep bench in the conservative Republican area. DeSantis, I think, would be great. I think because it would tee him up for the next presidency. He'll give him experience in the office. He's a governor. Mm-hmm. He is much closer to Trump on everything. That would be a powerhouse in the White House, and it would tee DeSantis up for another 8 years in Republican rule.
Okay.
Nikki Haley, forget it. And by the way, everybody starts talking about all these other people. No women, period.
What?
Zero.
Wait, you don't want any women on the vice presidential ticket?
Absolutely not. Women don't think like men.
Wait a minute, sir. Are you married?
I was.
You were? Wait a minute. Maybe that's why you're not married anymore, sir.
No. I got into a lot of red pill stuff after my divorce, and basically that stuff saved my life.
Say it again. You got what, sir?
Into the whole red pill manosphere, really understanding female psychology afterwards.
Okay, so you understand women more, and your answer is never a woman.
No, they don't think like men. They don't think like men.
I think you're right for the most part. They really don't. I'm not going to lie about that.
Look, if every human being, the first reaction to anything is instinct. You hear a noise behind you, you turn around, okay? The second reaction for a man is reason. The second reaction for a woman is emotion. The third reaction for a man is emotion. The least likely thing a man is going to do is react to something emotionally. But women go to emotion right after instinct. Reason is the last thing in the chain of decision making.
Sir, I want to be honest with you tonight. I feel like you're urinating on the third rail of the proverbial what do you call it? Commuter train. Where the electricity goes to the third rail.
Chris, look, I am just speaking the truth. Okay, I am just speaking the truth. Okay.
Would your wife? Would you actually? Go ahead, sir.
The other thing that drives women is attention. Okay, Nikki Haley is just out there. She's finally doing this trial. This is a last ditch for attention.
Ooh.
Yes, it is. That's the only thing. Why does she keep coming out and everything else? It's attention whoring. That's what it is. It's attention.
So
that is attention. Attention is the primary currency in girl world.
Okay. So you would never want any vice president, including for a woman, including Tulsi Gabbard?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Who is your choice again for that you would pick first and second choices, if any?
Second choices would be not in any particular order. DeSantis, Ted Cruz, J.D. Vance.
Okay. Okay.
Jim Jordan.
All right.
Jim Jordan would be a good choice.
Appreciate it. If Trump does pick her, will you vote for Trump? If
I'd
Trump
probably
picks her.
vomit on the voting machine.
What's that?
I'd probably vomit on the voting machine.
While voting for Trump, though. While voting for Trump, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Appreciate your call. I think he lost a lot of women right now are not happy with him. That's just a little guess. I don't think they're happy with him right now. But maybe you think he's right. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. 800. I mean, look at how great Kamala is doing. She's doing amazingly. Her poll numbers are through the roof. Two lines open, 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Would you support Nikki Haley for vice president now that she's officially endorsed Trump tonight? Let's go to, what do we got? Scott in Italy. You're on 8, of course, Italy. It's in the South Metroplex, obviously. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Scott, in Italy.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, sir.
No, Haley. No, not. I would still vote for Trump, but definitely not Haley. And all the reasons have already been said. As far as DeSantis and Donaldson, which I've heard a lot of people mentioning, they can't because they're from Florida, and the vice president can't be from Florida.
I will tell you they can do what Cheney Bush did, and Cheney just moved out of Texas to Wyoming. That's literally what he did. I didn't know that until recently.
Okay, I guess that's possible. But my first choice would be somebody that could carry on the torch after Trump leaves office, and that would be our very own Greg Abbott.
Yeah, that'd be a good pick. I'm not gonna lie. He would be a good pick, and he would be strong. Something tells me he would not take it though. He's on top here. Maybe he'll run in 4 years. That's my guesstimation, but I would think it would be great because everybody knows Abbott. Everybody knows Abbott, and the border's the number one issue. Everybody knows him, and he's an affable, likable fella. I agree. Appreciate your call. Let's see. Let's see if we can squeeze in a few more on this. 800-288-WBAP. Two lines open. 800-288-9227. Walter in Dallas. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Walter.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I've got to disagree with the caller a couple calls ago. As you mentioned, we can't have Florida and Florida. I know they could pull a Cheney Bush and someone move,
yes,
but that would be too difficult to really accomplish.
Well, no, it's not. You just move and you take up residence. It's like really easy.
Well, but DeSantis can't move. He's the governor, so it's Trump has to move, and he's already moved once out of New York to Florida. I just don't
he's not going to move. He would not move. Mar-a-Lago stays where it is. I'm saying that Byron Donaldson or DeSantis, if he wanted to, could move. I'm just saying they could if they want to.
They'd have to resign their position they currently hold and then move.
Yeah, that's true.
But that doesn't expand the electoral map, and that's my suggestion. We need to expand the electoral map.
Right.
So my recommendation, and this would lock it up, Susana Martinez, the governor from New Mexico.
Dude, she's a raging leftist who hates our guns.
No, she's not.
She literally called for the immediate suspension of Second Amendment rights, and she literally did an executive order saying no Second Amendment after there was a shooting with a thug in Albuquerque. And you talking about Lujan Grisham? Or no, you're talking about who? No, not Lujan Grisham. That's the governor. Who you talking about?
Susana Martinez, the former governor.
Oh, okay, that's different. I'm very sorry. Okay, no, I got her confused with Lujan Grisham, who's a leftist who despises our guns and all that conservatism. Okay, I got you. It'd be interesting.
She's a very conservative Republican, and what she could be tasked with is to go out and just appeal and talk to the Latino community in their tongue because she speaks Spanish fluently from birth, and lock up the Latinos forever going forward for the Republican Party.
I don't think he has a problem with him, really. He's got the lion's share of Latinos for a Republican. It's literally splitting down almost 50-50 now. But
and I'm not saying that's a problem, but she could lock it, and we could carry all the other states we need to, including the House reps for Nevada, for New Mexico,
if Nikki Haley is on the ticket with Trump, will you vote for him?
I don't vote for the vice president generally.
Neither do I.
The president, so I would still vote for Trump. Yeah.
Okay, and most people don't.
Haley or not.
I appreciate your great call, Walter. Most people don't vote for the vice president. Everything I've heard as of late is once again that the vice president doesn't change anything. But if it helps a little bit, then that can get people over the hump. That's why Haley might be a great choice, even though I can't stand her either. I can't. But 800-288-WBAP, two lines open. 800-288-9227. Nikki Haley, in her own words, got the original soundbite where she officially says she will be endorsing Trump, and then the second one that came out recently. She is officially on the Trump train as of right now. Tonight she's voting for him. That's pretty amazing, honestly, considering all the back and forth with them. All right, coming up next, your call. Two lines open. Would you vote for Nikki Haley as the vice presidential ticket with on the Trump campaign as vice president? And if not, who was your favorite choice? 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-WBAP. Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Well, who wants to take a whirl on the vice presidential Nikki Haley Express? Anyone? Anyone?
As a voter, I put my priorities on a president who's going to have the backs of our allies and hold our enemies to account. Trump has not been perfect on these policies. I've made that clear many, many times. But Biden has been a catastrophe. So I will be voting for Trump.
Whoa! 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Do you support Nikki Haley for vice president on the Trump ticket? If he picks her, would you vote for him? And if not, who is your favorite choice? 800. We have one line open. 800-288-9227. 800-288-WBAP. I have to be very honest with you. If he picks her, she will get him a lot more votes. Because just 2 weeks ago, that woman got 21% in the primaries in Indiana, even though she's been out for 2 months. What does that tell you? Tells you there's a hunger for moderate people like her. She's a sellout. I understand. She's a warmonger. I understand. But she will help Trump get over that hump with independents and suburbanites, etc. I'm telling you, she'd be great. Now, doesn't mean he'll pick her. I'm not saying he will, but it'll help him win, and it doesn't have to be her for president in 4 years. She can run, but that doesn't mean that Trump will endorse her. Doesn't mean she'll get it. Might be strategically smart to pick her. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number. Let's go to Tom in Frisco. Tom, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Chris. Referring back to your caller a few calls ago, I'm going to try not to get too emotional about my comments here. But,
which one? The guy who says he would never vote for a woman? That guy?
Yeah.
That was something else, dude. No wonder why he's... I'm not trying to be mean to the guy, but no wonder why he's divorced.
Yeah.
That'll get you in the doghouse for a while, yeah.
Permanently.
Yes.
But, I would vote for Haley in a heartbeat as a vice president simply because of her international experience her strength in dealing with the international. I mean, we've got so much stuff going on outside the U.S. I trust Trump to make everything about the U.S. better. But I think we need somebody as a VP to also step in there and really try to calm down the world a little bit through strength.
Let me ask you a question.
That is, sure.
That is her, you're saying?
I'm sorry?
That's her, in your opinion?
In my opinion,
okay.
Yeah.
Now, you're not flinching on this, so let me ask you this. Is it possible that you would have voted for her over Trump?
No.
Okay. Now, this is interesting. So you're one of maybe every 4 callers or 3 callers or so that actually says she will help him, like I'm saying. And you're like, I want her. That's very interesting, brother. Appreciate your call. Let's go next to Ron in Tampa. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Ron.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Ben Carson.
I got to say hard pass. You know why? He'd be great for cabinet like before. Hard pass, though. He's sleepy. He's boring. He doesn't get people animated. I'm a hard pass on that. Who's your second choice?
I only have one, Ben Carson.
Oh, boy.
I spent an hour with he and his wife, personal time. He's a man of integrity.
He is. I agree. I spent an hour with him on the radio once. It was great.
I need integrity, and I need somebody who can work with the president.
And that's Nikki Haley, isn't it?
Ben Carson.
I'm just kidding. All right, man. Thanks. I'm not trying to vote for her either. I don't want, but I think Trump might pick her for reasons of victory to try to win. All right, let's see. Let's go to Blair in Anna. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Blair, you got about 45 seconds. Go.
All right, here it is. Trump ticket. I think that Ivanka, his daughter.
Trump.
You, she went to Georgetown. She graduated from University of Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah.
Lottie. She's incredibly intelligent, well poised, and
right.
A double Trump ticket would be phenomenal.
She speaks like 3 or 4 or 5 languages or something. She's like C-3PO in that.
She's well traveled. Her graduate degree is in economics, and incredibly intelligent. But that's the only woman that I would ever vote for.
Okay, at least you're willing to entertain a woman, unlike one of our callers earlier. Who's your second pick? Are you okay if Haley gets picked just to win?
Second pick would probably be Willie Nelson.
Okay, he supported Beto Hussein O'Rourke, the cultural appropriator, fake Hispanic.
Did he really?
Yes, he held a freaking big, massive rally for him and fundraiser for him. Did a free concert. Oh. He's a leftist, anti-gun socialist.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know.
50 Cent just came out and said that he was a big Trump supporter, so I vote 50 Cent.
Get out of here! Thanks for your great call. Appreciate you. Hey, coming up next, we're going to get personal. I have been losing my hearing for like a decade, and I finally went in and got tested. We'll talk about what you need to look out for if you might have some hearing loss, what kind of occupations and activities that could cause your hearing loss, and what can happen if you don't get tested and delay. We're going to talk to a doctor, an audiologist doctor, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. This is crazy because for like 10 years, I have known my hearing is messed up. I have a friend whose wife, she's now retired, but she ran one of the Collier Center for Hearing over at UT Dallas, and I was like, oh, maybe she can get me tested. Oh, I should go get tested. I knew I should go get tested. I never did. And I've known that it's got to be 30 years of radio, 25, 30 years of radio, 2 to 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday on those headphones. And so I finally went in. And I went into Connect Hearing, and it was an amazing experience. They're one of my sponsors, and Dr. Jody Pogue is one of the doctors there, and she joins me on the Chris Crock Show to talk about not only my issues, but other people's. Dr. Pogue, thanks for coming on the show tonight. I appreciate you very much.
Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, you've made this fun, and Dr. Tyler Mulroney over at the Fort Worth location for Connect Hearing has made it a lot of fun, too. He laughs at my jokes. I saw him there today. He's like my new best friend. I was there today.
That's good news.
Yeah, so, and he gave me 2 waters for my trip home. 2!
What a guy.
So, Dr. Pogue, I was losing my hearing. I knew I did. There was a lot of frustration in my family, and I'd make a joke out of it. My daughter would turn around and walk, just around the corner to go back towards her room. She's like 5-8 feet from me, and she's walking the other direction. I could not understand half of what she said. So I came in and I got tested. Why don't you tell folks what everybody in my family knows I needed to get tested? What the results were from my case?
Well, thank you for being open to me sharing this with your listeners. So I had the pleasure of being there and getting to meet you for the first time when you came in to get tested. Got to fangirl a little bit. Once I got over that, I was sitting there with Chris Crock. No, we had a great conversation, and you were really vulnerable and shared with me all of the things that you've been experiencing about what you're missing and what you're doing to try to compensate for the hearing loss that you're experiencing, and how that's really impacting you and your family.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I forgot to mention cupping my ear. Whenever we go to a restaurant, I have to cup my ears. I literally do. It's kind of embarrassing, but I got over it. My wife would be like, as soon as I would cup the ear and lean in, she's like, he has to do that. He's been on radio for so long. I mean, she makes excuses for me. I'm not mad at her, but, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what you shared was a personal and impactful thing for you, but unfortunately it's not really uncommon. I've heard a lot of these things so many times over the years. You mentioned 10 years. It's been 7 to 10 years typically that people will wait between the time they need to get hearing aids and the time they're willing to actually do something about their hearing loss. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. So I'm so glad that you made the decision and you ripped off the Band-Aid and came in, because I know you've had a really great experience. I can't wait to talk about that.
It was an answer to prayer for me, because it was the thing I needed to get off my duff. So I came in, and by the way, some of the symptoms are, for example, mine were a couple of them. What are the symptoms? There's about 4 or 5 different things that are examples of what you're hearing. What are symptoms that you might have hearing loss?
We used to have a sign up in our lobby that says, "Does everyone mumble?" I know that seems silly, but so often people will come in and they'll say, I don't think I have a hearing loss. I just think my wife mumbles.
That sounds like me.
Right?
Yes.
I heard you say something along those lines.
Yes.
When we tested your hearing, though, what we did is we looked for the very softest sounds you could hear at different pitches, from like low pitch to high pitch, or bass to treble, if you will. Mm-hmm. And in the low pitches, Chris, your hearing is actually perfectly fine.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Winner. In the mid pitches, it started to slope off just a titch, but in the high pitches is where we really had to make it a great deal louder than normal before you responded to it.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that was going on,
Right? I mean, it would be classified as a moderate to moderately severe high-frequency hearing loss.
Wow.
What that really means for you is that I would expect you to have been saying a lot, I can hear you, I just can't understand you.
That's right. That's exactly what it was. Man.
It's not about volume. It's about clarity.
Dang.
And why that happens is because in the low pitches where your hearing is fine, that's where you're going to find sounds like vowels. Vowels are really powerful low-frequency sounds, but they don't have any meaning to them. I mean, if I was only speaking in vowels right now, I might sound like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. The high-pitched sounds, though, that you're really not hearing very well are sounds like the S or the T or the P. Those are the things that give meaning to a word.
That's crazy.
You said a word, but was it hat, fat, pat, or that?
Oh, my gosh. I would never know these things. I guess that's a science of what you guys do.
Right? That's exactly what we do. So the good news was, though, is that your hearing loss is a treatable one, because as long as we make it loud enough for you to hear it, your brain is still capable of understanding what's coming in. And that's why the hearing aids that you ended up getting are working so well for you.
Phonak hearing aids, yes. And so what are the occupations and the things that can cause folks to lose their hearing? Because people don't, I didn't really realize this, shooting, but like it doesn't have to be a multiple or over years long episodes, does it? I mean, tell me about that. What causes it? What occupations?
Sometimes just loud impulse noises like, firing a gun or being near an explosion, so soldiers or hunters, things like that. Also people who were exposed to just chronic higher levels of noise, like pilots, musicians, radio talk show hosts.
Yes. Yes.
Factory workers. But you know what the biggest culprit is for developing hearing loss?
What?
Aging. Really, from the time 18 on, we all just kind of start to lose our hearing, and this is why. In your inner ear, there's these little hair cells. Those are the things that receive all the sound as it comes in and transfer it up to the brain for interpretation. If you think of those little hair cells like blades of grass,
yes.
Every time you step on the grass, the blades bend over, and then you move your foot, and they spring back up again. Well, after 30, 40, 50 years of stepping on the grass, it doesn't want to get up anymore. It either wears out or they just simply break off, and that's what happens with those hair cells.
Wow.
And it's the high-frequency ones that tend to wear out the fastest, which is why what you're seeing is kind of a combination of age-related and noise exposure.
Dang. My parents don't have hearing issues, and they're in their late 70s. It just is what it is, I guess, huh?
Yeah, sometimes it's a genetic thing. Sometimes it's a lifestyle thing. And it could be that they haven't had their hearing tested.
That's true. Is it okay to joke about this too, like, to make it more fun? Like, what? What did you say? Huh?
It happens all the time.
Good.
I think that's the biggest thing that people notice. Especially people who are friends and family members, they tend to notice people's hearing loss long before they do.
What's advice? I mean, what blew me away is, just shooting some guns when you're younger can do it, or older, but also like military people, though, in their 30s are a lot of people you're seeing lately too, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Also, people who have that acute noise exposure like that tend to develop tinnitus as well, which is also often a byproduct of hearing loss.
That's the ringing of the ear, right?
Exactly.
Interesting. I never ever got that I'm aware of. Occasionally for a few seconds, but not like something that's chronic. What are the symptoms, though, that show that you or your loved one might be having hearing loss? There's those 5 or 6 things, I think, that you might be experiencing.
Well, the things that you've mentioned, really, Chris, is things like, leaning in, looking at people's mouths and staring, trying to get those nonverbal cues like lip movements and facial expressions, cupping of the ears, what, misunderstanding what people are having to say, that sort of thing. But even if you're not experiencing any of the symptoms, or if you don't think that you are, it's still really important to get tested, because hearing loss most often happens pretty gradually. And our brains are pretty amazing things, and they adapt. So you're not really going to notice it, because what you're experiencing now is your new normal.
I think that's what it's been like for me. All right, now here's the big question, is what can happen if you don't get tested and delay? This shocked me, this Johns Hopkins research you guys showed me.
Yeah, this is a really important question, and I'm glad that you asked. We hear with our ears, but we understand with our brain. The sound comes into the ears, and it all has to go up to the brain to be processed. And just like a muscle with lack of use, the brain will begin to atrophy. And if it atrophies to the point where it can't process the sound that comes in, then it doesn't matter how loud we make it, because loud or garbled sound is still garbled. So we have declining speech understanding ability. And we also have found in studies like the Johns Hopkins study that you mentioned, and some more recent studies are showing direct links between untreated hearing loss and the development of dementia.
That's insane. It's because your mind's not getting stimulated properly through your ears. And one of the other thing, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but the other thing is that you withdraw, and withdrawal makes things worse overall for your mental health by withdrawing. Is that accurate?
Oh, absolutely. It's depression and everything that goes along with that. The longer you go and you can't understand what's happening around you, you do withdraw. You stop engaging.
I'm going to tell you that's my
further decline.
That's further decline, exactly, because that's what happened to my wife's stepfather. Her mom is remarried, and this man has lost tons of his hearing, most likely from his career of he owned landscaping businesses, and the man has totally become a recluse. He really, really has, and it's very sad. And I used to joke around with him and enjoy his company. We don't see him much at all anymore on the holidays when we go back to Chicagoland. It's very sad in that regard. Yeah. It really is. And I'm going to tell her, though. We'll let her know about that, his wife. Listen, Dr. Jody Pogue from Connect Hearing, can you tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, and all the information, and how they want to, if they want to reach out to you, get tested like I did? It was very simple. It was probably, a half hour for the test typically?
Yeah, about half hour for the test. I think that the biggest part of the appointment is just an opportunity to get to know you and learn about your hearing loss and your listening difficulties and your lifestyle, and then tailoring a recommendation to you as an individual. So, yes, we provide no-cost hearing evaluations, and if you call 972-301-7350, I'll repeat it. So it's, I said that kind of fast, 972-301-7350, or you can get on connecthearing.com, and you can get that free consultations scheduled. And for your listeners, Chris, if they mention you, so mention Chris Clark, and we'll give you $500 off an hearing aid.
Woo! $500. Yes. Terms and conditions apply. See in the store clinic for details, by the way, right? But,
yeah, absolutely.
But I did not know it was free to come in and get the hearing test. That's unbelievable. Dang, here I was sitting around all these years. Thank you, Dr. Jody Pogue. We appreciate you very much.
It's been my pleasure.
It's been a blast. We'll stay in touch, okay?
Okay, will do.
Thank you. There she goes. That's amazing. They changed my life. I had no idea it was free, I just went and met with them, and then I was like, oh, my gosh, it's free. Free! So, dude, no more. Just go in and get tested. All right, coming up next in the Chris Crock Show, as promised at 9:45, this is quite the interesting article. Minerals for our chargers, our phones, our batteries, our laptops, and even the dreaded EVs. We got a big problem. China is eating our lunch in the minerals race, and it's unbelievably crazy how dominant they are. And that should scare us because it's not just with EVs. It's on everything with batteries. We'll get to that coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey, you know what was real cool about the hearing stuff, too? Getting my hearing tested and getting hearing aids. I found out finally all the questions I've had for years about it. Like, does it even matter? One of my friends said he had no idea. Actually, his name is Ben Ferguson. You know Ben. He's on Sunday nights here, and he used to be on during the day years ago, and he's a good friend of mine, very good friend of mine. We talk from time to time. We stay in touch. I love that guy. And his audiologist person told him to rotate ears, like put the headphone on one ear and the next ear, So I was doing that, but then my audiologist said, nope, no, you don't have to do that. Just, but I have to take the hearing aids out when I do my show, interestingly enough. So I got to tell you, it was really funny. Sidebar. It was really funny. Like I was telling Dr. Pogue a little earlier, we were chatting off the air, and I said, now I know what it's like to have a chip in your brain. You can call people. I said, it's not a chip in my brain. It's what do you call it? It's the hearing aids, but it's like that, except you could take them out. No, that's okay, because you'll have your constant ability to call and this and that while they're in your ears too. So that's kind of a nice little feature. But no, I'll never be putting a chip in my brain. But I'm like, I know what it would be like now. It would be convenient, but it would never happen. I'm not letting that happen. But it was fun. It was good. All right. This is from the Wall Street Journal, and it's very important. China is winning the minerals war. Western efforts to make a dent are languishing. China is not just standing still waiting for us to catch up. It's really, really, really bad. Basically, in a nutshell, Joe Biden and his pals about 5 months ago, they opened up a new mine. Oh, look at this new mine. It's going to be great. I can't remember which one it was, in Nevada or something like that. But 5 months later, it's shut down. Why is it shut down? Because nickel is in an overabundance. Why is nickel, these critical minerals to rare earth minerals to make batteries, not just batteries for EVs, which I'm not a fan in any way, shape, or form, if you know, but it's also for your cell phone, your cars, your laptops, defense technologies. I mean, it's like critical, okay? And China, because they have been doing their Belt and Road Initiative, there's two things they've been doing. Number one, the Chinese Communist Party, the state coffers, they subsidize loans and finance all these coal plants. They have gobbled up all these rare earth mineral plants to the point they're all over in Africa. They're in, can't remember which one it was, Indonesia, I think it is, and other areas, and Democratic Republic of Congo. They have slaves in Africa, modern-day black African slaves. I've seen the video. I've talked to the Harvard professor who just wrote a book recently called Cobalt Red. I caught him on Joe Rogan. I had him on shortly thereafter. He came on our show for about 30 minutes. He got 8 seconds of video he smuggled in from the Democratic Republic of Congo of slaves all over. He says it was like biblical Moses times. You see thousands of kids, 9 years old, who don't go to school because mom makes $1 a day to send there. She, either that or the family won't eat. She says, I want the kid to get educated, but we'll die. We'll starve. The kids work with cobalt with their bare hands, which causes cancer and other things. You have teenagers and young 20-somethings being slaves as well, working under these conditions under Chinese mines. But here's the thing. China subsidizes so much, and they're in so many countries, including China. And guess what they use to power their mining for the rare earth minerals? They use coal. They are doing everything that we want, and they have flooded the market so much so that none of these companies in America, including one in Minnesota, they were going to do this, they were going to do that, and guess what? They have pulled out. Why? Because it's too cheap. They're going to lose money. China, meanwhile, has tons of mining all over the country, all over the world, I should say, and they've flooded the market because that's how they do it. They cheat, and the government subsidizes it all. We are screwed in the mineral rights. Cobalt and nickel. China owns our lunch. Way to go, Joe Biden. And again, just because I don't like EVs doesn't mean we don't need these rare earth minerals, because we do. That's how they're winning the minerals war. And all these companies, including Canadian and U.S. miners, are getting their butts kicked, and they're pulling out because it's not profitable enough. China owns us on that. One of the many reasons why we need to have somebody in there like Trump to own them. All right, coming up next on the Chris Kroc Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. What a wild night it's been so far, by the way. Do you want to revisit, Producer Garrett? Do you want to revisit Haley? Or do you want to move on? You tell me, Garrett. No, just yes or no. No, do you want to, though? Don't lie to me, sir. No, then we won't. We've done it enough. That's fine. We'll get back to it at 11 anyways. All right, Joe Biden announces another $7.7 billion in student loan relief debt. I can't wait to get into that and tell you why what all the problems are with that and how bad it is.